Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've purchased in the past, there are always questions that come up when it's time to make that big purchase. So in this video, I break down the 10 most commonly asked questions home buyers have, and some of them might surprise you. Hi, my name is Morgan Little. I'm a realtor here in the Greater Toronto and Hamilton areas, and I've worked with a ton of buyers and noticed that there's often the same questions that get asked around buying real estate. So I wanted to make this video to help others who I haven't met yet who probably have the same questions. If there's ever anything I can do to help in your journey, feel free to reach out, book a call using the Calendly link in the description below, or just send me a text. Now, let's talk about the 10 most commonly asked questions about buying a home. Number 1, is there a best time of year to buy a house? There's no easy way to say this, and I'm sure you're probably already guessing. There is no secret formula that will reveal the best time to buy a home. However, there is historical data that can help you make a decision when you start looking. Typically, spring and fall are the busier times of year in real estate. January through March, the winter months, tend to be typically slow. People are recovering from Christmas holidays, they're reeling in their spending, and they're biding their time till spring comes. And then you have the spring market, which will generally run April, May, June, and that's the time you'll typically see most home sellers prepping their home and putting it on the market, which in turn creates more activity around buyers. This is when most home sales happen, but it's also when we typically see the higher prices. And then we move into the summer, which in Canada is typically so short that people forget about real estate. They're at the cottage, they're at their beach, they're just not thinking about buying or selling homes. And so this is traditionally a slower time in the market. But when summer ends, we tend to see a pickup in September. Although I will caveat that by you have families who are putting their kids in schools and they may not want to disrupt the school year. So we tend to see more activity in September, October, the fall months, but not as much as the spring. Again, I'm speaking in generalities here, but it'll give you a good idea. And fun fact, I don't remember the exact stat, but it is somewhere like 60 to 70% of home sales tend to happen in the first half of the year. And while winter months are typically easier for buyers to navigate as there's less competition, there's also less inventory. So to answer the initial question, it depends. It really comes down to your personal journey, and the answer is to buy when you're ready, regardless of external factors. As the old adage goes, the best time to buy real estate was 5 years ago. The next best time is now. The best thing you can do is to make a plan with your realtor and your mortgage broker to have your ducks in a row so that you're not scrambling when it's time to take action. Number 2, how much should you save for a down payment? If you're a first-time home buyer, consider yourself lucky as you only have to put 5% down of the purchase price. But this isn't quite as cut and dry as people may think. The way it really works is you can put 5% down on a home up to the price of $500,000. Anything above the $500,000 requires 10% of the amount between $500,000 and $999,000. And if the house is over $1 million, unfortunately, you're going to be required to put down 20%. Also, I'll have to mention, if you are putting down less than 20%, you'll be required to have mortgage insurance, which protects the lender in case you default. This gets tacked onto your total mortgage and isn't an additional amount that you have to pay up front, and it doesn't increase your monthly payment by that much. If this is your second, third, or 10th home, you will be required likely to have to put 20% down. Plus extra, of course, for lawyer fees and closing costs. We'll talk more about that. The average price of a single family home in Hamilton is currently $785,971. So to keep things simple, let's do an example based on a $750,000 purchase price. With the minimum amount down, that would be 6.67%. That's 5% up to $500,000 plus 10% of the additional from $500,000 to $750,000 for a down payment of $50,000 plus your CMHC insurance that I mentioned of $28,000 for a total mortgage of $728,000. As you can see here, if you put down 10%, that would be $75,000 plus mortgage insurance of $20,925 for a total mortgage of $695,925. 15% would be $112,500 and 20% would be $150,000 with zero mortgage insurance for a total mortgage of $600,000. I'll put a link to this Rate Hub mortgage calculator in the description below. Number 3, what are closing costs and how much are they? I would love nothing more to tell you that once you've saved up your down payment, you're good to go. You can buy your house. Unfortunately, it doesn't end there, and as a general rule of thumb, you'll need about 2% of the purchase price for closing costs. So on that $750,000 example that we just used, 2% would be about $15,000. However, if you are a first-time home buyer, it does get significantly reduced by the land transfer tax rebate in Ontario. And we'll go through that as we break down what's considered a closing cost here. Buying a home can be a lot more complicated than buying other things that you may be used to, including even a car. And in Ontario, you're required to have legal representation, act on your behalf in purchasing a property. Like I mentioned, in Ontario, it is mandatory, so there's no way around it. The fees can range anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 plus HST. They will conduct what's called a title search to make sure the title of the property is free and clear of any liens or fraud that may have occurred. Though this title search is done at closing, lawyers will often recommend and sometimes mandate in a lot of cases now that you get title insurance, which is our second closing cost here. You've probably heard some of the recent stories about different types of real estate fraud that's been occurring. Well, this will help you from that. Title insurance is a one-time fee that protects you as long as you own your home. Unfortunately, debt does not always follow a person, but can at times follow the property. And it's possible that there may be a lien on the house from a contractor's unpaid bill that your lawyer may not know about. The last thing you want as a new owner is to take on a debt that you weren't even aware about. Title insurance is typically $300 to $400 and can protect you from a lot of what ifs. It's well worth it. Then you have the thing that I mentioned earlier, land transfer tax. And in our example of $750,000, it would cost you $11,475. But because you're a first-time home buyer, you get an automatic one-time rebate of $4,000, bringing the cost down to $7,475. And then you have home inspection fees. This one is typically done before closing, before you even have a firm offer, during your conditional period. The truth is, you don't even have to have a home inspection, and during a hot seller's market like we've seen in the GTA for the last number of years, sometimes that won't even allow you to have any conditions, including a home inspection. Though as the market has shifted, allowing buyers to include conditions in offers, we do highly recommend that you get a home inspection any chance that you can. The last thing you want is buyer's remorse if you find anything major after closing. The typical cost of a home inspection is about $400 to $500. These are all important costs to consider and sometimes get overlooked in the excitement of buying a home. Your realtor really should walk you through these and have you prepared. Also, I'm happy to refer any professionals, lawyers, mortgage brokers, etc., home inspectors that I've mentioned here before. Just reach out to me and I can connect you with them. And don't forget, with the list of closing costs comes moving costs, whether you're hiring somebody or just renting a truck and buying pizza and beer for the boys. You need to factor that in as well. Also, any setup fees for connections of services like gas, hydro, internet. Will you need to buy furniture or window coverings? Are there any repairs to the home that need to be done? Be sure to keep all these things in mind when it comes to your financial estimates when purchasing a home. Number 4, what's the first step in the home buying process? Well, for many, it might be browsing online until they find the right place, but that's not necessarily the step that I would recommend first. Talking to a mortgage agent is the best first call that you can make. It sets up your expectations and helps you clarify how much home you can actually afford so you can focus on homes that fit your budget and save you on a ton of FOMO. A mortgage broker will walk you through your options so you can set up a plan if need be to help you reach your financial goals. Whether that's paying off debt, increasing your down payment, or finally asking for that raise from your boss. Walking into the home buying process with a financial plan will help you stay calm and stress-free. Number 5, what does a realtor do when I buy a home? When you work with a professional local real estate agent, you have somebody who knows the in and outs and the process on your side to represent your best interests in this transaction, which is probably the largest one you'll ever do in your life. Not only that, but we have a fiduciary duty according to our code of ethics to act in your best interest as our client. Think about if you needed surgery, you would go to a doctor. If you were going to the Olympics, you'd get a coach. You wouldn't do these things yourself. You could go at it alone, but you may not realize when you're being taken advantage of. Having a buyer agent will give you access to someone that knows the in and outs and that will guide you through the process, where you'll get someone who will research the current market and write a competitive offer based on your financial needs and the current market conditions in comparison to the listing price. You'll also get a dedicated professional who will listen and understand your wants and needs and take the time to find the right place for you. Someone who will diligently cross the T's and dot the I's so you can focus on packing and moving, and follow up to make sure that everything that was supposed to happen does. All that being said, I do recommend speaking to a few different agents when making your choice to find one that feels like they're a good fit for you. It shouldn't feel transactional. My goal is always to create a genuine connection and build a long-lasting relationship, because it's in my best interest for you to have a great experience so you go rave to your friends and family about what a great job I did. Number 6, can I buy and sell a home at the same time? Like the answer to a lot of questions, it depends. The decision to buy or sell first comes down to a few factors: your financial financial means, and the current state of the market. While you can list and buy during the same period, some homeowners can't go firm on the purchase of a new property till they get a firm offer on the sale of their current property. Also, if you have a mortgage, you're going to have to review what the requirements are there. The best course of action, like I said originally, is to speak with your mortgage broker first to find out if there are any implications with your existing mortgage. But if you have lots of equity in your home or you have freed up cash, then this isn't something you have to worry about. You can go ahead and make the purchase of your new home and wait until your previous home is sold. The last thing you want to do is be on the hook for a new home when your old home is sitting on the market not selling. Number 7, should I get a home inspection? I touched on this in number 3 when we talked about costs. Well, during a buyer's market, home inspections are common to protect a buyer from any unseen deficiencies. Like I said, during a seller's market like we've been used to in the GTA for a number of years, it may be tough as offers without conditions will usually win out in a bidding war. I always recommend a home inspection because they can reveal any sort of damages or deficiencies that may change your mind about the home purchase. After all, you need to know what you're getting yourself into. The decision is ultimately yours, but passing on a home inspection could result in an untimely maintenance bill. The flip side of that is a home inspection is simply a visual inspection by someone who does know what they're looking for, but they don't have x-ray vision and may not be able to see deficiencies that are behind a wall. Just something to keep in mind. It's not foolproof, but it can be very helpful. Number 8, what happens if I change my mind about buying a home? I'll start this one off with a disclaimer. This is not legal advice. If you are considering backing out of a real estate deal, please consult a lawyer. This should be a last resort. When you have a firm deal, meaning you've put down your deposit and you've fulfilled or waived any conditions that you had in the offer, you are expected to close on that property, regardless of whether or not you did your due diligence or your financing has fallen through. There are options out there if this is the case, so unless you've exhausted all of those, it is highly recommended that you close on the deal. Like anything in real estate, things are always up for negotiation. So the first step would be to have a conversation with the seller, or rather have your agent have a conversation with the listing agent to see if the seller would be willing to let you out of the deal. The seller may let you out, but it will depend on a number of factors. Mainly what type of market we're in. If we're in a seller's market and they know they can turn around and get at least the same amount of money that you were going to pay for it, then they may just let you go. But keep in mind that they do have the option to keep your deposit. And based on our $750,000 example, 5%, which is the general deposit amount, would be $37,500 that you would be out. And if it's a buyer's market and they're not going to be able to turn around and resell it, or they're going to have to sell it at less than you would have paid for it, they do have the option to sue you for the difference. This doesn't often happen in Canada, but it can. So again, do everything you can to close on that property once you've got a firm deal. Number 9, how do I know if I'm ready to buy a home? Deciding to purchase a home is a big decision and should not be taken lightly. While the benefits of having a growing asset, mortgage pay down, year-over-year appreciation, personal security, and a place to build memories with your family are clear, you should be able to confidently answer some of these following questions. Number 1, can I afford it? And not just the down payment and closing costs that we talked about. I'm also talking about your ongoing monthly costs that include mortgage, taxes, insurance, utilities, including heat, hydro, and water, in addition to your existing costs on things like internet, phone, car insurance, groceries, etc. Additionally, and this one is so often overlooked, is you should be putting money aside every month for a house fund for any repairs that will come up, in addition to your regular savings. This is really the biggest thing. If you can afford it, then great. You just don't want to be house poor. The second question to ask yourself is, do you like where you're going to / can afford to move to? Have you found an area that you'll be happy to live in with a commute to work or school or other important aspects of your life? Though I will caveat this by saying, when venturing into home ownership, sacrifices sometimes need to be made. You don't need and probably won't get your dream house off the bat, so moving to an area that may not be your number 1 may be something that you'll have to accept. And that leads me to number 3 is, do you have realistic expectations of what it is to own a home? Have you done some research on what area and type of home that you like and what it takes to maintain a household? It can be very rewarding, but it's not without its challenges. And number 10, should I buy instead of renting? This is a highly debatable topic and comes down to your affordability. And with the way rents have increased, it may not be that hard to figure out what is a better option financially. But in addition to that, it comes down to what your wants and your needs are and what makes the most sense for your lifestyle. I rented my primary residence in Toronto for the longest time because I was a touring artist. I was often on the road, so it didn't make sense for me to tie myself to expenses in a place that I would not be spending that much time. Also, I had great rent, but as my life changed and we started a family and we wanted more space, it didn't make sense to stay renting in my existing property. And if I were to go and rent the type of place that I wanted with enough space for my family, it just made sense for us to put that money into a mortgage and to have our own space to watch our family grow. But only you can answer this for you. The best thing you can do when you start to think about your journey into buying a home is have some conversations. This can help you gain clarity, figure out what you really want, and learn the process. Everyone has their own individual path, and I'm happy to have a chat about yours. If you're ready to start viewing homes or you just want to pick my brain, I'm happy to have that chat. Feel free to book a call using the link below or just shoot me a text like I said, and I look forward to connecting. Till then, I'll see you on the next one.